sa bills biensa ne da embrahye bedwafo wagye atum no ne nsunsanso ewo edema Ghana no etisen adwadifo concerns ana wo raise concerns ben concerns legitimate was wo raise na aban ensa anka saa say ebe pass saa bill na enka ebe na enwumre ebe saa semu ya hwe ho ensema ewo ho ebie na Ghana for a woye economists ana woye finance people they are now working and they say aban hye say ye kwaji IMF $3 billion for budgetary support and a balance of payment support na ehun behia pa ye na wodi wani ehye entakremu a na aban deadline ana say aban timpo say hwie be March bosome no enko na wie de na enka ye wie ho entutu ye nyina enida na yeja March kwan ene ye CA April nti sei a yenya ewie ye no esen na ne nsunsanso na tie ede emai ewo se bibi ehurahran ana se yeda ewo se yeda enwubre ebehwe sa asemi na yaka Electoral Commission constitutional instruments a wode akodom embrahye bedwase enyia na woye won continuous registration a obeya the only identification card a wojitum embra kwan so ebeye the Ghana card of course minority wo embrahye bedwame the NDC raise one consensus Electoral Commission for actually say ehubia ni ho bibia ededa na akwan enwumbre onso na osese we look at that issue na the rebellion and DC MPs they na to one agosi say na Ghana for SSA na onso say enwumbre na osese then na say na ekọ embrahye dwam ededa say na ofa no bidin Ohene Gyan lawyer, thank you, and I will say thank you to Enyumbre. A paying for it to a better say na yaji Ghana home. A democracy, Jumadi, so elder Peter Tepe, Yeneno eta edi and como ewo hapaji. Obey me moado.
Pacho, major Zulaya.
Now, at the same.
Pacho, Yamina don't put me a
pa. What's it, Jesse, dear? May the baby crowd free ba. Ze edru Saturday na ya shejesi na jeze e wo si ekoba bi ko yibibi
enokre
zi e chia e wona wo hye ne wona wo tie mensha sie emfiri eneda binim se na wo monitor de ekoso e wo embrahye bedwama bra ekoba se eventually na sa bills biensa ye the income tax amendment bill, exercise duty and exercise tax amendment bill, and a growth and sustainability levy bill. Ya jitum e wo brashe bedwem no. And then say na ofa no.
Yo pacho. Me da say na me chia etiefo ne o ma hwe ye nyina nso. No krese enra no anya me nwanwa se omuji tumu because ya dey ya obvious say ombeji atum every say according mansontwi between minority and majority minority here can say they will not agree, but of course we know that there is a slim majority in parliament, so if everybody up to me massa or to me coordinating the members ni year, then yenya yenim say omubeji atum na jino muji tumu no, even though enye ade papa ana sempa edima individuals and businesses nanso akoye what I call a necessary evil ade bonia ese I was say if we say enye pe say ye beye saadi we na emon esan say yantumi amanage yankasa ye economy ni yi a e wo say ye kogi mwafre IMF honti conditions a IMF edi to hodi maye no say yandi so a yentumi ensa enka bra ye drew yenya on 1 year announcement say Ghana has reached a staff level agreement ena make us say enu ye the basic na dia aka ewo ye nim no e very difficult chain dia aba no na se mecheche mkakra ma etiefo atiase de ntia sa adiwe esi wo parliament ndra na ho hia na me fa no se uye obi akwa akogi loan e wo bank se uko a ye be ma what is called term sheet e clear the conditions aniama e wo se uye ansana unsa aka ye disbursement ye this can be ma ye ba ka cho se on be hia e bia o bank statement for 6 months se uye individual be ka se bia ye hia o pay slip uye company be ka se fa collateral bra na ni nyina ye be indicate ye be ka se ko fa 6 months bank nyama nyina bra na ya indicate say we na wo say o dey ba inti ye wo conditions precedent I was say uye ansa na osaka inti we nyina ye de tu eni mu a na ya ka cho say obetumi a wo say an okay ne de na wa sign ni eno ni staff level agreement a ye drew ye no inti ya sign say we ya nyama ye be ye afa uye wie ye no ansa na ye be ma osaka no e wo say u di sign ma ni ba inti afa bank na ma document no wa sign ni wie afa u ko fa collateral bra wakofa asase yaba asase no ye hwe ya indenture no ye ko hwe a ye register ye eni udimu na be ka je say unfortunately asase no eni udimu ye ko hwe wo lands no title ni ho then e be ka say ye ntumi ma oska no e fi say asase no enya udia e bia ye ka be ka say o ka no ye hwe no ka no ye ka dada enti ye ntumi fa ma ebia wo kofa o bank statement aba yeka so ye hwe o bank statement no sika ekomu no kire se I mean say ye mawa so obetumi tua no ebe ye din say ye o salary nso na ogi abeka say de bi ye hwe o salary a any scope person ogi nso a untumi nji inti we nu nyina ye the most difficult part I was say we play and sana ya disburses kana mo finally inti obi betima signing agreement with a bank so person ogi loan now so onisan kan scan because of conditions I was all meeting sa na Ghana yenso ye de no koye ya sign agreement na we now so I was say ye meet these conditions and the conditions ni ba ko ni say ye nche say e ka ye de no ye betumi etua afesu ye betumi edi kana aba form na odi o ka be ba form one I was say omo di o ka no ni omo ko tenase na oni omo enye agreement say kana mo di midimo no yensa tenase na yenhwe mu bio na be ya ebe ma woniama no ana be ma space abem kakra enu ni debt exchange na ye no ye di domestic omo ye di mo Ghana locally no aye wie aka external ones na external ones no enu na akohoba ho say ye ni omo aye di omo ka wa ma no ni nso be hia multilateral agencies and bilateral ni countries they say they can say China uhwe total debt sika ka ye di external debt in about 5 billion later about 5 billion out of it no China kwa dey 1.7 enu no nanka enye no na ye dodo now so ehu hia because they are the country ye omu dey doors as a single bilateral country omu dey doors eni te hu hia say omu so bebem enu na ye ko ne ye ba ne bemu kapo kraten ka say enti say China ama ye scanner ana omu njintum say omu di ye ka be che ya na so omu be ma ye mre a ye fantu a ye ntumi ko gi IMF na ehu hia pa efe say nia opeso di eche ono opeso pese obia mba table no opeso obi be sisi obi ye frɛ bi pari pasu ye nyina ye nye level enti say wudi eche mia ene obi su fanche ye nyina ye ka say ye de che na mu ba ku fanche ne ba ku ka say on fanche eno na ehu ka aba say ye sa we nyina wie ye wie a afei yan kasa yo mine mu ne o say ye bibi che say ye revenue be kosro ye hwe a o mine mu no adi ba ko a ema abanya ska de ye project nyina ye tax enti eto eno na ema abanya ska ede ye various project aban eye na wo hwe a your friend will be taxed to GDP. Tax to GDP chair say who taxes are OG. GDP ni ye all the goods and services produced in the country. If I say obi owo market or ton wache, obi ton brodier, obi ton jene, obi ton banchi, and no more almost service so obi a service am obi so ye photocopy so ye printing o obi su ewo ye fuo niama free hold goods and services ye produce in country companies omo ye juma wa ha de ye nyina no sika Ghana enya no be free ba no e na tax suka ho ye hwe niama we nyina tax a woman no about 13%. It's not just say who share your peers around here now. There is about 18-20.
There's a moment try when she ano.
Mama try when she ano.
To go Cote d'Ivoire and other countries. And
into your share who share within a ye no tax a yeji. I can't sika yeji e wo man no nyina no e wo form. Let us say who nya say ye be expanding the tax net. But not to increase it because any increment because utum na man for ntua unse in the past no be say VAT ya tum sa na so hwe an kan sika was say free VAT mu ba no esa na so de bia so ya tum intu hwe consider ben afesu nkrofo mu tua tax no ye kakre bi pe inti amade bia no pressure be da o so se no tax bill si aya pass income tax ka ho ne say menu ye obi a oye juma ye tano ka busum bia no ne say this we bi nya sika ebe ma sa revenue akosro eno ne ho ko ba say e wo say ye pass sa bills ya ebe boa e na make say enye say Ghana be pese obe pass sa bills we na emo esan say ye bebia ye de ti akoshe IMF no say ya anya we a ye ho be chi yen sika no yen sanka na yen sanka sika no so a oman no be kofom oman no kofom a ye a ye ti mu nyina so ne ye bebre inti se saade a edru a eyenyo the bitter drug se onu na obefa na ebe ma ho atọ wodi a ene obekata weni na makata se saade obekata weni na wanum no sa na ohun to wi a ede na pese odi no wedi enu na ekoba ho se enra no parliament kwan bi obefa so a obe pass sa ade we no e wo se omo pass
Elder Peter Tepe ena wutie no ehwe no enwumbre ye o democracy dwumadie so ewo Kessben sene medican aka no ye hwe se enudana yaje sa bills miensan atumi ne sunsan so ewo man no etisen minority for edem pa potinti na ogina so a na wo se enyade a wo de won support ebema sa passage of sa bills we na eno so ho nsem no etisen sene wadwenkyere eye wo sene a wonsusu ye etie betimi de sa adwenkyere no aba 0550 567 929 0550 567 929 just send us a text or a WhatsApp message na yenwese ne awadwenkyere tie enwumbre Solomon Owusu ewo ha enwumbre solo ekasa edema New Patriotic Party solo memwajo
bejo so mini abema
na bom ti sen
bo de enwumbre ya fam yi de se na ekoya no ye won kwa anye wade
e do bade ase yensha se infree eneda bills miensa amrashe bida for waji atomi income tax amendment bill exercise duty and exercise tax amendment bill and then growth and sustainability levy bill at the end of the day parliament ajatum nisu sanso ewo ede mayen no etisen say finance minister ede tudwa na te say ade ehia ye pa say ye beji atomu ubema ye hu say de nti na de ehia pa say wo say brashe bedwafo de wonsa ehye saa ade ase ewo enede
gacha wa chief wanu ahefo nyina na machia Peter nso enokro mu ni se ne fareba nyina ejina IMF yade ho se ye kwa akodom na we ni yakwa this will be the 18th time o man nyina de ho akwa akoshe IMF yanti ase going to IMF let say ankrankra bia okọ bank akọkọ bisia there is no way a bank o kwa kubo besia o wa ka bank say and as a bank be hu say o ba no o use Land Cruiser bank be sure say kosoa use because onum say the sika na o dey ma no e wo so tumi sa betua na ade e shareholders na discover begum ana omodi bi e ma obesia nti de brand brevia no IMF the nisu ade hunu ne say obehe say odi sika ma wo a obetua ba betua ma no and obi anim say aban bia no ba bia otumi nya siketua ne ka eye eto eno nti no omohwe woto a ogie a na se ewo fom a omeka cho se tum eno ye one of the conditions and na say one kasa no usika wudie which is your expenditure no obeti so enti a balance of scale of priority dey na opese oteso na dey na opese koso enti aban wo option so obeti the expenditure so no one maintain current your friend say taxes and asset to no and na say obe increase to no na one maintain your friend say the tax revenue enu nti no na akoye asemu a ehu hia pa na we be kasa de nti na aban anti the expenditure so ne mo yes ode be increase ne to abaya kwa akoye budget di ama amanse nyina hu se wo na oti bonwira yesi bia ye ba be ye okwan ene nti o kasa wo ma onti the expenditure so a what it means is all part and say onkonko twa ekwan bi oso be no bonwiri anase nsuo so de be ko nampanduri anase obekwa akototo na eno akohia se untumi ngongo twa nyon because we nyina ye critical in terms of say insurance bi wo so de we unhia Solomon bi obeka kire say etoye de to ade so a insurance so no ano ahyi especially in this times business environment na nkasa bibia mu ayedin me no ka say unfortunately interest rate and as a lending rate and then I'm around 40%. So on the businessman be also ni wa wosika pudio down mo a odidi ni dwumadi enye there also ko bank and ko bobesia na ko bobesia o bank na say insiwe down no ngwa ya ko be 40% enfa so be ya na ubenya ntia ebe mo adwuma no kra akọ anim eni eno danche sa besia na okobo na nsihu no wosoro no eno na ono businessman no besa pass on to the final consumer to already the prices no kosoro ana yesanso atutu endina say yesanso ba be compound situation e mu sisi ya no already yesi e wan ho kire bia esu ti yesa de bibia e ba be ka ho de a na chese ahokire no e be kosoro e wo se nyina je tun sa these are reality e white e black nanso asenenti kru umia na kese nipa ni isu wa mia nso ne na etwa bebia ye gina sisi ya ye gina bia nye there is a whole of about $3 billion ye nya wono menu mienu ye exchange rate no ebetu esubeti hwi obeka ya somewhere September October to November when fuel prices started say cost 10 sa time no na ye neighbors ene na obeti ye nuanu ma ndisi fo ne yam so oko Cote d'Ivoire ton fuel say oko Burkina ampa no mo prices no efom but because na ye exchange rate depreciation no e contentem ni no na ye so price of crude no e cost tentem na sa time me ka pass na Ghana fo nyina bobina if you say ye two fuel mu a e affect obia so the question is we are abaya obeye hwehan say won tackle problem na say okwa tackle problem so e dey how eba o man for say na wait we kushiyom that is where we are now I think say the right choice and the right decision to make in say obeba o man for na take the better pure say ye betum no bia etuan kakrakra ye problem as o man and say o hwe ye budget are you read it throughout from the 1957 to data yentumin cross the tax to GDP yentumin cross 16%. The West African sub-region is a tax to GDP. Etwa amanaman tua nyina no on the average 16%, including Walton, Burkina. But here de no enipa kakra bi na etua to. That is not to say what we undua indirect tax and enso esimanimi indirect tax, but direct taxes nipa do etua no ewo fom. E don ye de hwe nyina nti abranya bre no nipa kakra bi na ye de to no eyere wo mo. Ene na ma no koye how na me feel say ye koso atokoso formalize economy to say a obi anya ne Ghana card to say ye ka cho say okwako bie bank account anya Ghana card o ye electricity ye hia Ghana card ni a ye betwa ma ni bado do na ba share the tax bracket ni edoso sa no a wutua teku mitua teku a ebema ye nyina ye tumi pushi oman so there was no doubt and untino one there is no doubt said or how be breye two it is a necessary evil say you betumi dia kwa kobo besia but you see the ehia woman say how we carry ourselves after all this melee. Remember Rain said this is going to be the 18th time yako IMF. So yako nasi yako ni yakonya ya onheha kakra ya na ye wure fi ye ho ana. Say ya nkai ya ho say anyoma ABCD ni ye ansana yako IMF na na. Ene na me metie eye me din pass metie ase. Yeti kromo yi obienim over textbook bia basic economics so economics without tears so primary economics so social studies so obia be catch you say or maybe I won't control over your natural resources you will not survive it. Nyami ache gold wacha diamond wacha bauxite wacha chip wacha cha prekese o maya ye exporter of gold added at 3 billion ehia Mama oil, and then also 3 billion here. Ebe here because sa natural resources here they do me any ensem ye tudo kromwa emani pe wu oboase emani pe wu otakwa emani pe wu oprisia ehome from abone enso sika dodo ni nyina ye di no New York ye di no Paris ye di no London ye di no Luxembourg ye di no Berlin na ye ni timemfo no ye bre that is why maban wo ban ye nyina ban e o se the pressure to so yamfa natural resources na ba medua kromu ase abrofo no omunim nyansa nchenye sa enti so edie na ya na we etirimu ye ko negotiation table no so a na ye kwako jemu am fufufu sa is it a personal parochial interest and now say edie I want to understand it.
Okay, we will come to that. Ye behwe no ho send that answer na ye beba hon mamenko elder setepe na so na wo kan say economics the basic economics biya chiro say obese oye ya o tax net na o say ubuye so that one a wo wom dada na wo tua no burden no emeye kese ema burden share ubuye ma no dodo na etua you increase the tax without overburdening those are already in wo tua ya kan we ya from say ye wo O level, A level, SHS, they bedru wherever they bedru still, and then we can say expansion no into me and take place. Pempinia ye increase rather than expanding. Where is the problem? Then tina into me expand. So they may be so because and they your fan say IMF for $1 billion I should and we have a condition and actually was say embrace media for jitum yen na so jitum says so there be for crown putu nchen tax to GDP no ewo even the sub region ye de no ewo fam enti say we ya ye pejemu ebeboa ama ye de na kwanim kakra na say nye abefo mpo na aba say kai ya di papa. And then they bet me I expand the tax base without overburdening one hour. Where's the problem? And as I tell me because we are finance and economic person. Sorry, Peter Tepe. Sado be a can. Then tina to me expand because obi or tax person be because so we should expand. Obi or finance person because we should expand. Obia or economic person because we should expand. Be my mate lawyer Dr. Ali Nachia. The arguments are bia or say we should expand, not increase. The idea we are increasing. Why can't we expand?
Number one, your leadership problem. The entire leadership problem is who share your space of leadership now. They be a pentem I never kese. Na se upe se oye nema kese chen wa upe nyama so a edis ka bebantem na se upe nyama edis ka bebantem a dodoɔ no gyina nipa ketewa bi a wodi w'ani asi omusu but sɛ yɛ ade a wonim sɛ ɛwɔ sɛ mema nipa dodoɔ no mbrɛ mu a then wobɛhu sɛ ɛbɛyɛ ade a gye sɛ ɛkɔ no kakra ba ɛsan sɛ aban na ɔmo ba in the past any current previous nyinaa no they are looking at doing a lot of things within 4 years. Now, person we never be within 4 years. This is you are looking at how to make all the money now. A typical example is they be a 2 VAT mo. Aban bia obia no or muhwe kwan we fa so am VAT akosro. Now so our opposition or complaining say taxes was rododo. Now oba expand economy no. Obema industry aba na yanyeska. Obedru wi a adentina sa ade ne sesa. The international say 1 parochial interest no dawson change the interest of the nation into your share. If I should bring an industry, I better take it 2 years to bring this industry up. So 2 years industry I remember after that na come in 2 years. Last year ni election year. Inti maybe no mi angasa me nyahwe obi mo na baba bedi says adia when me let me ignore the industry aspect. Now let me look at how we can trade, go and bring import. Go na odi cook of aba oben tumi aton 10 in the ama industries na wa hana e wo say omutumi produce no mutumi ton e wo Ghana no mutumi anya profit etua no they are not able to do so. So look at the tax that was passed, correct? For instance, they say growth and sustainability bill. Impose tax before profit. Tax profit. No, so unya profit we are na wait your tax. When they are bringing it forward. Na se nipa no unya profit obey na with your tax.
Is it also not the case say na owusu kan say o businesses are ebia edru se ujane se onya se tax nkwa na wo koya ansa na obe declare profit se profit nkwa na de weni esiso a ansa na obe declare the profit no na enema pi akɔhye ebia expatriate amako form aba me dey say na me dey o negotiate boss me bia wo se me tu omo me dey we akɔhye a enko wiase no obehwe no na profit a ebia obe declare no akoye kitu ebi so that aban no enhye da enkonya de papa bia emfiri ho enu ti na ama aban no yese and the answer na ube declare profit no kra no I should be in there to make sure say kwamba ne befa so amenya bibi enso de aboa omanfo enye santi na de we ba
say that is how aban edwin say if you say of you say companies no mu sheda no mu declare losses and na bebre na so make losses enu nti no who make losses say untua tax say sa de me fa mbre ni na omuru efisu say tax profit na omunya no every hi neighbor say obi wo ho a oton ade na oton no even ni cost a odi ton ade no so si odi nyama nyina be ka ho a it will obe make even he cannot even recover his cost. If we say the same thing na all ton no obi akofa no every baby fufuro e di aba e na all ton no at a cheaper cost into so hwe ni cost of production ni nyina wie mpo a also be ton with profit a onya sika because cost of production is high. And nothing I will say ye hwe the factors are nyama ebeboa production a ebema akofo na be ya if you are producing water nyama ehia so be produce water electricity ebia bottle ebia chemicals so be use ni nyina no efiri na eba se be ya ye onso no ye wi ebetumi ato ama anya ho faso but uto anya ho faso obi ebe kwa kofa wo manoni aba obeto a obenya ho profit bebre inti already no before the people declare profit crampo at even at gross profit level crampo no which is the basic your sales minus your cost and no crampo no people make loss is there. So how will so you see the issue is that does a buying and they be because the policies eba yentu yembo ase enhwe bebia those who are going to be affected by the policies no etisen wo ho nti wan hwe say okay ikrofo ya yefu say omo declare losses. Is it that ampa say omo declare losses omo sheda no omo declare losses and now say ejima na omo ye no am bibi mfrimu mba say the be ya udi bei obenya ho faso na so onye ho faso so one yes analysis now. That is why we keep on increasing taxes but our tax to GDP is low. Inti tax no ye cost wa increase cost ro now so sika efrimu ba no extra if you say dey bia ye fu say cost ro na sika beba if cost so na sika no emba if you say inkrofo no sika na omo nya no extra and you want to mean to ya na ye nye sa analysis no inti ye be ye wie no na ko ba form sa na ye di this electronic levy ye nye analysis ni yie mi ka say sa yi levy say ye ni yie na we don't break any threshold na say obia tue bia na say unseni once the crowd tua. Look at the money we will make. Recently it has crossed over 200 billion more transactions. Now so why is it that the tax is low? Because we don't understand how it comes about. And I hear be way free, but we are looking at first 1.5. When people are saying reduce it and make more money, if you have reduced it, that's a nipa 10 obia tia 1 cedis. When you 10 cedis, what could reduce it? Nipa 2 per day tia, but who crap tia 2 cedis? Is it not 4 cedis? At the end of the day, you've increased it. Now, so people who are paying are small. So expand. So expansion na ye kano is because Abanshia or Espania time I bet take you edi anya saskano ewa ebeba no na we free so o pesikan 10 times so dia ye ne o se oye eno nti se sa dia mi mfe kwa me fa so a menya ne nyina sese ya me ko a emfa me hu biom nti de nti a ye ntumi anko ye nim de nti a ye di ade ne ba nanso ye nya ho fa so ni se ye shedan tenase andwe hu yie se ade a ye di bai omo betua no hihye no omusi abrabomu ana omasitemu tisen aye de ba betua. So for instance income tax uye juma busumbia yetua oka na sa ban so kotumu a ye were various bracket the graduation greatest your bracket in this obiji 1000 cedis obiji 2000 obiji 500 cedis crampo a now uko 2 income tax mo a scarce na obenye frame inti o say ye analysis inti omo ye juma wa Ghana no ye tio mo kasen na say ye tu sa to no so a ye benya scarce ni free ho o say ye omo ye kan say ye benya about
40
billion
in a year
omo di analysis be na yes sa projection and they did it based on omo fu say profit are buying companies enya 4 billion yes in the end 4 billion a ye ken yes does no now so ye no because ye feel say companies benya profit because ye feel say mines no their production will go up because theirs is even going to be on production ye hwe we nyina ye did we do analysis to see say companies here omo betua sa profit sa taxes ye hwe omo even over the last 5 years profit say no munya.
I'll come back to you now. Yeah, sure. Na solo a raising concerns. These mining companies are yeka omasemi. Ye wo natural resources no. Ebasa ye exploit ye need control. But omo meki omo profits no omo repatriate profits no kona de bia ye ho actually so saban no ekoho no wa bo awura ho akwa akopɛ bibi wo ho nso so a na eno nso so asan be ye adifoforo bi. How do we resolve this? Send here.
Oh, sir. All Kasano can say you mineral resources. We don't have control. Into who the tax are cut so. If the production goes down, your tax goes down. So it is not about that imposing tax on your production. It's about your share. It is a share na woman. If it is more, say the production you come from crowd only now. But on say production you come from tax now the two so no and extra or not yet what you get from him you get because at the end he has already made the money that is making but yakot nasi aye shisheye yan kasa ye share now we share now word no extra And I will say who produce 1,000 cedis are maybe 200. So China new production cost 500. We see as by saying.
Okay, I'll come back to you, but share asema ye kan say aban no wo free carried interest of 10%. Enu nsi aban kwan say aban no person onya more shares e wo ma ubenya more shares, but of course that one you have to pay something to get more shares. Aden na yentumi mobilize local participation and all that. Entumi enko na da bia ye complain say nkrofo bi na abeje e na omo ye omo si why they prevent and send Kayan so you be invest in there and also make the money and crew for a year and they call abonting. We will come to the Mama BOT Aquaba BOT Makwaba.
I'm lawyer.
I'm going to say
Kofrodia neighbor you. And your former national chairman and your Mammy.
Oh, okay.
I will notice no very late in the day.
Sorry for.
But I was say about
I appreciate that very much.
My chairman Yakobio na me sanso morning na busu nyina Yako na me chair mini openene Solomon Owusu. Me ba mahuso or he was struggling to answer a very simple question. Na lawyer
microphone na say we chika kakra.
Lawyer who say oba finance and economy is premised on assumption. But when your assumption is premised on the data, is the weakest form of assumption. Every economist, be financial analyst, be or your postulation, you assume and make projection for the future. But one thing about projection also be a share and so you have to be guided by the utmost good faith. It is oh yeah, by now be pray to me now. And there's something called front loading of your flagship programs. Abambia the manifesto in a back. But you see, Marcus Ciceroca said always advance your own level of argument. But when you miss superior and drop yours. I suggested to government, so Uganda. In fact, in Africa, the best country with yield levy policy is Uganda. And look, that is how they started. Because of my working with the Commonwealth, it's practical with me. Almost I do 0.1. 0.1. Until the majority of Ugandans were paying the yield levy without knowing. Now, every quarterly they go to Parliament and increase it from 0.1 to 0.25. It got to a certain level and you move be 5. So even if the citizens were paying even 2%, even at a certain level, they were not feeling the impacts. Aban sorry or see you levy no. Media man 1.5. Number 1.5 and about 6.9 billion. Some of us told them so no, you hit the rock. Almost no, you are being political. We said no. Go to Uganda. Uganda there near Fako Ofa Udru Entebbe Airport. Find out from them how they did this. In fact, now Uganda, among their source of revenue, yield levy is the third or the second. It is so because Kwanya Ugandan government fast so yeah no Timemufona and feel it. And you see, Tobia de bar, the city rule opposed to is fundamental. Me metra and kasa me position tino me be councilman mo beat me debit. Every citizen, including me and you, will oppose tax. But lawyer saw the toba, na se to no ye a bit regressive. It will face stiff opposition. And you see, arguably, whether it is proportional, regressive, or progressive tax, you get opposition. But whereby a twana would they ban on the embodiment regressive, which is regressive means it punishes the poor and motivate the rich. For example, let me give a clear case study. Young for a railway, any abrobi mi kromu or domasenye case study. Abawana is home 1,000 Ghana, and it greatly just a call heaven. But Madame for me, Diano, okra 1,000 Ghana, the value of 1,000 Ghana is not much. But Abawana on cutting toes, okotu trabody, okotu bancheno, onya 10 million OCD na, we do heaven a year. So catch us Abawana say, or send 1,000 Ghana, ye betting ye levy 1.5 wa, obe bobna. Any obe faka kobri kum, every dumase di scanner coma, the ordeneka. And tis how the two be a ba na. And don't forget, said the downtrodden are the masses. So for the pyramid of taxation, any BA for a dozen. Your catcher are buying with a ye levy no, any BA for a ye levy more. Until lower the rank, broaden the base, abana and tea, finally DNA see. And you see, naturally, people will both avoid and evade tax. Now, let's come back to the new tax abai. Lawyer, what we say, Adia Bakun shows a Bambia fairly. The continuous increment in your policy rates. Basic economics better will say, Abambia increasing the policy rate to mop up excess liquidity from the system. What the bet here? Abribia better says, Abambia increasing the policy rate, which is the rate Aband the both to investor bonds and on lending to business community. No, Abribia now policy rate be cost no. Next, say you are punishing the business community. And then now say every businessman, businesswoman be asking for the Christmas. No, anytime he's affected by borrowing, no, it will transfer the cost to the final consumer. From January 2022, now the policy rate of government through MPC was 14.5%, and now a TFI here can say a 29.5%. It means say from 2022 January till date, no, NPP are buying policy rate no, I jump up by 100%. So me a central bank. Now me turn Sikama CBG EcoBank 29.5%. When EcoBank take up the money, on also be introduced to raise premium rate into that money. So by the time a Sikan be free central bank BOG, Edu EcoBank, Edu consumer no what time no, now policy rate na 50%. Into now ye can say no, beyond say ye kasa about taxes no. Policy rate, when you increase it too much, it becomes an indirect form of taxes. Tuona Abano, I don't condemn it because as a social democratic party called NDC, we are not against taxation. No, because taxation is a financial tool to create equity. Into Obi Awakoto Lamborghini, Obi Awato Ferrari, Obi Awato Bentley, all create climate change, you know. Aban begging a tour the aqua create road amobi or masia mean toss our carnival. And from the NDC perspective, no, we are not against tax in principle.
But now we are against this tax.
I'm coming to no. Mami, tell me submission you. We are not against tax in principle. What we are against is say abanya audito. Now audito ni we are on to move to on one contapano here to. So financial economy. Almost say a sport child need discipline, not more embellishment. Akolaboni here tianya so. Aban way akolaboni. And then been saying COVID-19 by a manje tour. And the COVID no aban je tour yet ya so do monje tour. But auditor general year report today ni free mobile. Enti NDC year how na say ye ba me e beje tour. Me metna studio ha me kan che Ghana because ye the tour na e be chechire man no. But ye ji tour no a tour na ye beje no. Ye nkotena Jubilee House and nipa more than 1,000. Won't do that. Ye nkosi National Cathedral into the biggest pit in the world. Ye nyesa. Ye ji tour ye nkodwari wiem abra Ghana for complaining. So the fundamental issue between the NDC and the MPP is say yes we are for taxation. But whereby on continuous basis, oh je tour na oh je no. You are not investing in things that can pay for it. Some practical example. Lawyer Wuni say NDC Abansi Commander Sugar Factory. Emerias you be a Commander Sugar Factory. And don't forget, say it will come with a crippling interest and even repayment to the country. Ghana and the MPP Tekana far buying way. And a man who say Aban way Abanya. They are taxing people on operation. Lawyer Mete say will make a sound argument to say if the mining companies are making profit, why don't we tax them? Abribia would go to the tanker was a the various said, and you see, look, I come to think about it. Among the sectors now on the tax, it's almost close to about 17. Banks include non-banking financial institutions, insurance companies, telecommunication, breweries, inspection and evaluation companies, down to mining companies. At the end of the day, yes, we need money, but lawyer, I come to what on some unity. One who be or see a condemn until you buy a fufu no, but the means some unity. That is what the government is doing. We are not against taxation, but the principle no kwanya buy we fast so added to go amount for no. Ya hwe better dey be try no. Na all the ya we creating nyuma. Akrama amount for be pay nyuma. At the growth and sustainability levy bill bar. What that government has done is say you are exporting jobs to other countries and killing local businesses. Simplicity.
Answer na me through akosolo na me bisa see a situation
Right.
Aban no ewom sisi IMF na yetimpo empo ni se enka March end na ye de omo atimi awie.
Right.
March aba na wie ya ye wie ye hwe ni mu se ni mu animu yi e wo say yetimi conclude the deal with them.
Right.
Na we so akoya precondition say yes ade. Aban no onye den.
Okay, you see metie na minu apani na kasa metie ni yeme belina. You see and he's very being honest on the show, no politicization. Look, when you want to curtail a near, there are two things: revenue and expenditure side. Lawyer, enya bribia na hie skade bobra. Enya bribia na nipa hie skade bobra. At times revenue is good, but expenditure is key. And if the revenue side and working mawa, turn to the expenditure side. And in fiscal consolidation, two things are involved. How do you mobilize money? So how do you cut down on expenditure? And now I can say, lawyer, let me be very blunt on this show. Me can show we swatch me catch will say the mark target will not be met. I remember one former DC meaning the buy or challenging, and I told you, look, I'm an economist. I'm from NDC Carlos and Tonchain. When I look at the realities now, one, domestically, you bet my domestic exchange, you bet succeed. But so before China will accede to your terms, or best stretch out. Until the earliest we can get this bailout to be in June 2023, and you can mark it down. Because China be pull and push. The Paris Club will pull you. Until the earliest Ghana bet many IMF Sikano June. That is when the board will approve. What can we do? Government will cut down on expenditure. Sankamania buying we are and check. Presidential staffers say over 1,000.
Now what can you say?
Wait. So far Article 71. Do you know? So most of these political appointees in the under Article 71, into your man some man whether 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, or better as gratia. So don't look at just the salary no homogeneous. But Aban Rebecca opposition December 2024 lie, they know one leg in opposition. All these 1,048 people now this enrollment in the almost some Aban we are. They are going to be paid end of service.
Even those who are public
yes, they will be paid.
Public servants.
They will be paid. And it's any per thousand. So lawyer, Fanasa the yen to be averagely 200,000 Ghana cedi per one person. Multiply by over 1,000 people. Look at the toll on the economy. Aban we you too mufo. Maybe the new opposition or more corner yameya. Unim the yameya. Tokro no mube kriti by bribe brain and the hammy. And come opposition or more corner, I don't give a damn about it. But I'm not no more creating. They are creating financial manhole, not even potholes.
It made us say a BOT, Kasadima, NDC, and Numbre. He is an economist, a chartered economist. He also speaks for the National Democratic Congress. Yes, because Sulohona meaning Sulajin Solo
BOT.
Yes, this argument who the BOT etun chenya who guta and other business people and other finance people they omo can say adan na buy emfa na ni enko share the expenditure side na on hwe hono so ekakra aban say or see ebia 111 hospitals adan na aban hwe ho ebia ka cathedral ebi kan we ono ntasumu.
First of all, on say your bahana your bekasa in our bid to do politics you have to be real. When you are not politics, so many dini trimudo. Yana mentias say yes somebody at one in one breath or cast NDC in principle or muntia tax. No asa kwa ba begina said a tuono ebe higher. So what are you saying? Or a political party for the first time in the history of our political Fourth Republic. NDC need the only political party to me a year demonstration against a tour. A BC ukrumda. Meanwhile, what a studio catcher say NDC bar bemo a tour of the Bibu mano. Now opposition ya demonstrate against it way. Now oba then what become Miss Ghana for say a tour ediduma. So and you woman say obien one more unim say you are hochim and obiansu ni wa unim say o the tour to be so emma and your boy edding. But ubusa a very simple question. I mean, Gani free. And I like the question. Some question anytime I present a Bia Bebusa, will be a make argument. We are on to me answer, especially from the NDC. What's in the part of was the value of presidential staff is now more can. At the trainer of yes, saying, let's speak to the data. Maybe I am visa was one uncle data already. Was say, hey, almost 3 billion. And it forms about 10% of GDP. Now we are speaking to data. Then yes, Obama Tinaha will say, yeah, staffers. So first of all, why would you say and go for near Jumaye? Said we are more a presidency, Omunye Togolese, Omunye Gabonese, Omunye Ghana for a brenya, yeah, pay Jumama Ghana for. So by your admonition, that's by your prescription, they will catch it here for 80 years in a more presidency, they say, I bet you ready. And this is now no bab or pa bear more bano. Was he in Kuli Ghana for the Adaya or man Yaquatrim and you be a descendant bear or man over here. Now is it the solution? Say or man Aquahuchima, yes, I'm going to go for the Nacommon San Godu Mobusia. One of my been say you come you believing in the extended family system. Obi ya edi power baby din kwe baby a kakra obenya no ana odi bi ko yenkurase e ko sonko fo asene na wabetra as NDC ni a obese oba abam ebedi Ghana fo nim say wodie eyidie ene your priority entwa yi menua no ntwensan no ompa Ghana fo chew mate o monko fo bi ebi odi no oka was a Commander Sugar Factory Jesus Christ of Nazareth okupie hokoye dey look Commander Sugar Factory ya 2016 May election year Yewura Mahama ekotwa apom say me hu yeyi ohene se ka say ye bia ade anu a say no say start production ade a yakotwa apom say and start production no within 2 to 3 months near start shutting it down say ne ba be dadaye so munni ntro chenkofo no na nyame wongo because oko read the reporter owura kwasi betwe bonzo mu use election 2016 no omuti committee bia na owura professor kwasi betwe nyame fa the crazy yi woda no oko kan report na under page 257 was say NDC for na ntro dodo no a eno 2016 omu use election no na ntro no mo ani no de kasie mu no esan se commander de won hyem kanan ni yie no expose wo mo nteme ka no mu use ye ya ba be mu na factory no esi won mo anya adwuma ya boss besi akoje abra wo mo anyi no bebia ibenya raw material enti obeka ya na nsem wo no former president John Mahama be ka kire say ono ni A level economics actually say usi factory ya ansa na wadwene bebia benya raw material mi ni bebia my economics da bebia no economics be kire say ye obi be for complementary goods. So tia se u dumi ka to say o ye carpenter o ye table aba wonwene che ho eninti no oba ne so yenye ba bem under the able leadership of the trades and industry minister am so call commander che na mi mlemu omo because they want to hear what they want to hear and they want to listen to what they want to listen o man kan kono de yamenia o call commander sisia the last time I checked ya yet test run ya identify for immediate solution no baby I the raw sugar be free India ba pending say ahade na yedua no ebe yi na hyem ehon na so ma woni ko na obusa say akoduru say na membe tenantu mfutro mu ngofo ni elisa ye nya hwe won mo enye bibia etiro oyene there is no way there is no doubt about the fact say etwode we the two bibia so a ahokere dey eba and yene MPP yenka say yenim say ahokere ho a bridge and a boy. Again, the issue of say or predict say you bring sikani June. You see, unless you are not a strategic manager, there is no way memeti say make me a juma, never achieve results in June. Mema say maybe June. You understand? They be out trust or they would target in the benim. Say the bear, Messia, you are still within range. And don't you know, Fanny say, Aban say June and the targeter. Over the parliament, come the agency be tax revenue measures are not pass here. Officer audited COVID-19 audited report na a condition on Kebe in term. Officer give mix yes get fund give mix no Kebe pushing in term. Officer domestic debt exchange program and Kebe and agency because we are not involved in the government man deadline of March 31st. Anuti MIA day, echo in Sana policy maker bia. You think you bring the thing backwards, say it miss your expectation. And you know, Abanya Bonibia. In any case, that this March end year, king IMF or more policy, over to be extraordinary meeting. Once you have achieved and it is not news here, Benya Sadio, because we are a member of the IMF. And Fatayan say. Say because I rely on because there is no way of promoting development. But if you say too much of a stress, yeah, because I say Messi and you end this for a body too much. Am I or man dear? Edimobia.
That points are end the CN and Besame call Elder Honam Bisani said by missing the March 31st deadline. Was Susan so be my ana. Because not obi a really mu say first quarter no enko na wie ye de na e bia yetimi ene amefo awie. Now that ende nida a yenya enwie eno wo how bi edema sa akwantu a ene amefo etu ana. Na menkai etiefo ne arefo say ubetimi send a message. It was 0550 567 929 0550 567 929. Just send us a WhatsApp or a text message. Na yenwe miko Peter Tepe on bisa sa adewe say deadline 31st missed. So
Bacho and you cresse yen to me emiti deadline na ehun susanso so wo ho nso de ntia ye kwa IMF ni se yepe moa hanse na be ya ebe boa economy no na yesika sema ewo form no etimi enya sika e dia expenses are ye pese ye I mean if you come to the low level na essence yen to me meeting nti the susanso ewo hon mine say ankasika ebeba o mine mu ebeboa ama yentumi aye niam bia wo say ye no we kire say wo say aban etumi adjust ni hu in terms of expenditure wo so omoye so there ebe edibeba ni say most of the expenditure no will be deferred into this year no aban will have to look at critical items niam hu hia pa e wo say sika kakra ye ji wo man ni mu no ebe ba kun say anka oban oman nya sika free amanoni ye euro bond ye ko boro ye ko jiska na fe taxes ayeji e na fe foreign direct investment usha anka amanoni sika free hoban nyina e boa ye pa to even improve our reserves aban e be boa ye sisi anu your reserves no is about 2.6 months of import cover anka normally no we 3 months okay of course 2.6 months no so too bad nemo esan say reserves na conform na 2 aban first no muji budgetary support every Bank of Ghana sisi ahihye na aba sisi ano esan say IMF niti sa adeni nyina I say eja ne say aban hu chi na ontumi nka so okọ Bank of Ghana ko jisika biom nti dia omo ka che ye ni say adjust yourself na nyama na o say uye no for a bit too nchen nti until say IMF bailout ne beba on be approve na on approve so ya anye say sika ne nyina eba preko ewo kwan ya be fa so beba no kakrakra ye wo tranches eno nti no de ehia ni say aban be hwe ni expenditure project a omoye na omo defer dodo bebia sika kopa bia na road infrastructure yankasa ye di sika ye se sika na ye di ye no bebia free banso na se embe bioma o se ye fa tu nchen afi so uhwe flagship project a ye sa ban be hu se within from now akopim da mra sika no bailout no ye benya na bibi beba kakra ana confidence beba economy no mu na afi ye betumi akọ anya sika every amononia say saa de end ya wo say ye hwe saa flagship project no na say betumi defer bi a ye de bi etu nchen e bi say agenda 111 na hospital on person mu si say sika every hoba no ebe ha adwene nti na wo say ye de tu nchen eno no there should be no pressure on aban say chinchina wo say mi na mi wie situation na che say e wo say ye fa ni mani bi entu nchen eno na beboa ama mre from now kopim tama say ye May say ye June na ye nsan beka IMF no say bantema fine but sisi ano there was a buying encotenancy on the table then we say okay esan say ye ntumi meet deadline nti ye nhwe niam ye de betu nchen niam a ewu hia sisi ano ye mfa ye ni enko ho na ye nhwe na be ya we can be able to manage to the time bill out beba
answer na be few nche mi bisa sa de we say ya ye taka say project we e bia ye suspend bi na e bi o ha ye say but project bia no the moment you award a contract to obi a obe execute the contract woni no wo enhyehyeye say there's a contract period within which I be also owie enti say we move to site oye echuma na the understanding and say e bia oye edru sa stage we ya e wo say certificate beba na wutia odru stage we na wo say holding on meaning say obe extend the contract period. That also comes with cost, any interest implications and all that. Yeah, where's our aspect in so
baby, I do say we don't have any option, and our contract and also any option via. Say I buy in Yanska and Tiawa. What do you do? So which one will you prefer? Say me holding on. Na ma sure him say ebeba and I say me na me Yanska so enfant aso. Inti no condition aye wo sisi as on mine no. Abaya bedding sharing.
Okay.
Until we don't have any option. Anything we say, buying any leaders be show consent say, Bibiaye wu musisiano emu ebi. Eno ntino yankasa nso ye ABCD se na be ya kakra na ewo ho no ye betumi abo ho ban na aso ye nyina ye nso. Enti sa de a obi enti asese ahonche aba. Inti ye nyina ye show say ampa ahonche because what has happened now ebetumi to oba aban bia nanso yankasa na ye ya sa asonso ye sa ka every say etumi manage ye hu yi a what is $3 billion you see it's so embarrassing honestly say $3 billion enti sikanso ye mfa ma ye free o enti there are a lot of lessons for us to take from this enti it is time for us to put restrictions on leaders, on government, in the way we carve our manifestos, we carve our project and what we want to do, because we bring out manifestos with project without any evidence of revenue to support it. And no one say we want to do this project, we want to do this, we want to do that. Now so we are not showing how we generate money to be able to execute those projects. Ye be do a esa say ye pen temti na wo say ye nyama nyina tem na ye twen ye pe kon be fa so ye ko gi loan eno na ma ye ho a che ye nsusi ano
no also because infrastructure deficit I die in eso akwan obia e pese ye be ye ni krom kwan yie because si kro na hwe kwan a ye di free e bia connect regional capital be to the next village ehu enkrofo ehwere won kwa ayeye sa kwan na bia 10 minutes wakwa aba ema business economy yenye kwan ntine bia 1 hour 2 hours na wo kwan no so ni nyina no na etwe yen ekọ ekire enkrofo ebehwe investment they look at sa infrastructure development sa de mawe enye no nti na bia na ban susu se bitumi close infrastructure gap na be lay proper structures na eno so kra be boa attractive investors am doing business any dem akoyi so at the end of the day Ghana for ADE no na investment ba na sa dem
de o kan no krepa e na aban bia nso no omudi road infrastructure e na omudi bomu omuso ana ya kan say omutu nti unse for instance in the 2000 election they were saying na kwan na yedi now so yes is aban no so no omuso can say ya road bebre this government to buy so no omuso omudi kwan omoye no e na omuso di ka say this is what we are doing but adibakwa emma infrastructure gap no continuously so they say most of the time no all these infrastructure gaps are infrastructure no it doesn't bring any revenue Inti kwan aye nyina no yemfa eto to into so a edisika eba. They are not commercial project. Now most of our buying project no any commercial project. That is why who here say we set our priorities right. Who dey hwe mra ahunche baye no adi ba kon who here pa ye aduane. Obia pa aduane di. The road infrastructure project ekoso ewo gaba ewo bebia ye di aduane free ba no. Enya sem kitwa. Now so de bia ye kwan but de bia so bebia aduane so free aye di ba no so so if we are able to set our priorities right na say ye di project no call bebia ehu hia pa no ebema sika kakra na anka ye nya free road na ye no no ebema aduane a egusu esay wo bebi no ebema say aduane nyina aba kroma enu so di sika ebeba at least enye crampo a ebetumi akoye bibi but unfortunately no we do things at times emphasize say ediba edibreye into. So for instance, let me give you a typical example. It got to a point where they were putting asphalt in areas of the cities and can those places no the road is not bad and can sika betimi aso ade akoye bibi kakra ebetumi creating road ewo baby a ebetumi twi baby eduane aba you travel to the food producing areas and kohwe eduane a egu kwan hu tomatoes watermelon jene say there's nyina yesika o nyina yesika. Look at number of
is it not the case said they are okay asphalt overlay ebia the cost no as compared to say a classic kwanya wo kasa fe ankasa na wo be yes road na in terms of costs and you hear now sika so then better say you do asphalt overlay than say fe wo share new road as say scan bia enko ba bia.
Of course you can it can be more trouble. You see say utu kwan ko eche now some of the road networks you marvel say this also part of Ghana. That's just true. To make it more trouble.
That's true.
Now so
that's true. Who President Kufu Abreso district assembly bia eto sa aye grader any caterpillar no bia na ka wodi be twa road no so anya hwe no ye ngu so kra at least e be able trouble but me name the state as ade
me also ka say me ba ha no man present fact bia ebia me kasa no dey asa wa hye na so but for the record offer all major government in sub-Saharan Africa relative to GDP and population size. Ghana for the year 2022-23 now the highest budget to OGM in the Homa Office of Government Machinery. South Africa, Kenya, Morocco, Egypt, Nigeria, these are economies far bigger than that of Ghana. In fact, Nigeria is a $400 billion economy. Ghana economy grew 100 billion. And so your budget they co OGM for this year was 3 billion Ghana cedi. So they compare South Africa, Morocco near there, is they are even taking half of that. Into Abaya population no 35 million. Nigeria echo 250 million population. South Africa more, Egypt more, Kenya more. Or my economy switching over there. And so budget how they call OGM no is almost twice what is going to DSR. Do you expect us to side with you? Number two.
No, on Nigeria one, is it not because of the system? Because Nigeria is a federal state.
Wait. Who aggregating? Please. Look, per the working I do, Nigeria is under me. Because per my working with the Commonwealth, Gambia, Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Eshamasi. So I'm speaking to data. So first state level to federal now aggregating
okay.
The OGM budget at state and federal level no and do even 1.5 billion Ghana cedi budget. Okay. Now that aside, or say sugar cane, any final product a complementary goods. Now former President Mahama in elementary A level economist chair and say you build before you have raw material. Let me educate him. In my specialization in my economics, I did industrial, financial, and economic policy analysis. Yeah, well, backward and forward integration, industrialization. So we industrialize here. There are two approaches you can adopt. Either you do backward integration or forward integration. What does it mean? Lawyers say, cast a backward integration. What it means, they say, you want to industrialize. You can put up your facility and later come back to look for your raw material. And it's accepted everywhere. China, Japan, Korea, they even adopted this strategy. Why do they do that? Say, ABA will sit down, a bit might take you 2 years. ABA done with years, you know, it may take you 2 years. But sugarcane, there in less than 6 months, you know, you can grow sugarcane in 6 months and get it. So as an economist, you know, will you prefer to grow sugarcane or you prefer to put up the facility before you grow sugarcane? Number 2, and this a walk, oh yeah, buy a maybe so. And now you can say, no, mu si Bui Sugar Limited. On country will show we so approach Ben and use ye. If Mohammed's approach was wrong, by adopting backward integration on this show, Magana for whom say Bui Sugar Limited na musi wo buino approach Ben and fire.
Is it a private and government?
A joint. It's a joint venture. Joint venture. And I'm speaking to facts because now no bunu minister and call her by TV so it's called Bui Sugar Limited. Justina, good. The point I'm making is say won't see Obi approach to industrialization as I don't condemn it because the same approach Mahama Yusu or Commander will condemn no. MPP using the same approach in Bui Sugar Limited because muma the clear si dino mu ye na mu si mu grow sugar cane no. And if Mahama were wrong in 20 then you always see if you're even worse. The last of it all, matters of road. Record the crime from 92 to 2022. And this record confirms say from 92 Ministry of Roads and on Highway. Okay. From 92 Bepemone. Abaya wa constructing more road here Rollins Abaya. Yes. From 93 to the year 2000. Rollins did 18,965 kilometers worth of road. President Kufuor from 2001 to the year 2009 did 13,902 kilometers. Mills Mahama from 2009 to 2016 did 15,548 kilometers worth of road. The worst of all, His Excellency Kufuor. From 2017, you've not even done 7,000 kilometers worth of road. That's a Kufuor. And you see, I am man for takas a coin, your coin. Lawyer, where you research by Global Info Analytics. Now, they did voter trust in managing key issues. On the economy, Mahama got 55%, Baumia 17%, Alan, his man 13%. That is very so some for data. I'm to prove what on the data. But baby, try to build better infrastructure. Try to better build infrastructure. Mahama got 57%, Baumia 18%, Alan 13%, any other person 11%, Dr. Konado for 2%. So clearly, you know, and let me state it on this show, he can challenge me.
Also need the
Global Info Analytics.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to be clear
yeah.
with that.
Okay, so clearly, every data suggests to say about infrastructure and you're more funny NDC. But you see, on confirming what is the policy on the road infrastructure? The NDC has. Under this government, MPP need policy on infrastructure. The NDC policy is the big push. And over the big pusher, the evidence was clear. Over big pusher, been Cocoa Road. Every cocoa region in Ghana, NDC here, over MPP, I mean, challenging to say, yeah, more policy on road infrastructure and Ghana for. So to me, I'm packing in mass racko. You see, Edru maybe I just not about Brofocus. The NDC is a political party in Yenum, but the Yenuma. But they say, but you say, because you see, these people have created a certain penchant for lying, say they came to rescue Ghana. But Obi also be a coin. On this show, more policy on road infrastructure and Ghana for. Meti ha my boy there. The NDC policy is the big push. And the big push we really Mahama was trying to continue from where he landed. And you see page 87 of the manifesto number. It was a continuation policy.
Okay.
Because Mahama realized, say, look, Mashe Bibiase. So Ghana for me to have so from 2016 and had a big push, you know, a big creating 1 million job. And it was for local content. More domanum from the year 2016 be pemone wo Solomon wo so me catch us about policy amunni lawyer mame fa de bi nto dwana team wo ha where your Chatham House statement His Excellency Mahama Kokan wo UK na okade bi wo page 28 permit me to say the first order of business for any NDC administration is to restore macroeconomic stability and ensure fiscal prudence. Yasha Ghana for boss say bar will not go beyond more than 60 ministers. Obi Beka say, Adentina Mahama ba maybe a tremuno, obedi a konya from 2013 to 2017 January wanye, kwasiana nsesana adwene. Oba kwasiankwa. Mahama me Ghana for anke Antonio Swaba. Uni ni ntia. So ye Christo ni lawyer meboa. Madam for ye Christo ni. A Christo for yes Christo ama papa Obama de bonyefo. Into their fan say Mahama crow ba no ye bone. And I walk na bench when we said there be. Say me baby wa. And your man ye am man I will not do it. One of it is a fiscal prudence and they say ministers say yearly fantastic government is send people for abano. Make so. I'll reduce it to no more than 60 ministers. Number 2, Article 71 beneficiaries. Lawyer ya not here kasa me be man fa data mana me met here kasa yin amanfo edi. A lawyer over productivity sector. It is not quantity but quality. And it's all so amanfo bi ma de bi on betena social media di atana uti omo ka bosomi a what is the impact on the side of the economy? And to the NDC can say yes. Yam fan say be bone Ghana for to NDC. And Mahama Akufi akọ any homework and oba back. Oba biu no ye ma policy alternative. A bad size of governance I see a baby we won't go beyond 60. What is your alternative? And now you can say ministers 100. No, because I'm first 60 we are cutting away 40 ministers. Imagine the salary a monument entitlement of 40 ministers on the size on the national pairs. Number 2, you say look, I didn't teacher need to meet 40 years. Or coffee at 20,000 crownya. No, Biba Parliament DC 2-3 years on file $500,000 Ghana cedi in coffee. Mahama say me baby look, I'm going to cancel it.
How? Article 71 beneficiaries.
Yes, because
executive to me ben or the cancel.
I love this discussion. Rollins can say laws were made for men were not made for laws. Lawyer, Maminfa will call the some of the schedule of the Constitution.
No, but would you say executive, as a president, you need to cast Article 71?
Never.
What you to say?
Lawyer, me
okay.
Lawyer, me don't call Article 290 of the 1992 Constitution. Amendment of entrenched clauses. Obi o one constitution or show no emie article 290 page 176 of Ghana Constitution title amendment of the permit me to read. You are a lawyer. This article applies to amendment to the following provisions of this constitution which are in this constitution referred to as entrenched provision. Constitution article 1, 2 and 3, article 4 and 5, article 11, article 5, article 42, 43, 49 to 56, the executive chapter 8, article 93, article 106. Let me be so if I want to say about article 71 deal. You are a lawyer. This provision is clear. Article 290. It's not an entrenched provision. So any provision of the constitution that is not entrenched, you need parliament to amend it. And by simple majority. Until year NDC for say per article 290 of the Ghana Constitution, article 71 year entrenched provision. It's not entrenched. And once it is not entrenched, you need parliament to amend it.
No, the basic question
I've answered you.
You have not answered.
I have.
Because they say,
okay,
as a president,
okay,
as executive,
okay,
while on your own, what
okay.
you mean can say what cancel until say parliament
okay.
through due process,
okay,
amend the aspect of the constitution
okay.
to take it off.
Okay.
So if you don't have the majority in parliament, it means
okay.
that you cannot okay. amend it. If you cannot amend it,
okay.
it means you cannot cancel it.
Okay.
I
mean,
okay.
My question.
Okay.
First of it all, Article 290 of the Ghana Constitution actually clear.
No, we are not talking about it.
Lawyer, you've asked me a question. Allow me. You be a question. You answer the way you want to answer. Article 290. I educate you, BR on this platform. Say Article 71 and trend clause. Say MPP so mo dogana. Oye researcher na bisa Ghana for. As Gracia, ye maintain ya na yen scrap. 9 out of 10 bekas among scrap. Let me finish. Global Info Analytics is my source. And I always quote it because I love their work. Bureau of Election Center Kumasi, I said they've confirmed it. Yeah, NDC Internal Intelligence Researcher confirmed it. Say Ghana for any near as Gracia. And I say we are going to get majority in Parliament 2024. Okay. We'll get.
But when you say president,
every policy, Ghana run executive presidency, you know that, and many bills come from the presidency. And now see or the presidency need to lie so. Yeah, buy you become. Okay. Now try you become no. You shall say for your fee because he has control on the executive. Or can send one can say all the arms of government to. Or say he will start from the and lobby the other arms of government to buy into it. But some minister DC, the official team saying that the next NDC government as Gracia will not be there. And some alternative here then tell us on this.
Will be about chapa or Sima Aduno and watch it or democracy you might do so or Kessben television and on Kessben radio. Openi Peter Tepe ewo ha enwumre BOT ewo ha enwumre na Solomon Owusu ewo ha enwumre na Solomon amema break akra na yi we ensem na no then we'll come to the next issue. I will read messages kakra then we'll come to the next issue.
First of all, me man opportunity say nipa dodo office of the president the year adwuma omo sikado do say na call monti of fi say a burden onto the economy. A one started teasing Commonwealth, South Africa will say, Nigeria will say, your budget as a whole. We are looking for specifics. What make a specific allegation? Says sikado do ye need triangle for cow home. And no was na me say mama sad data no. Oni na say obetum futuro egunkonfo ni. Ebio enye no kreda. Sir Rollins abreso ye kwan esen nana kufado anya no kreda de kuruma kwankra enno so sa now wasaba be isi we yeduan mo beso mudi atra ho was start bro for 10 wo say on intro no katwi ni mu da ho edu commander sugar factory no say there will be bia me economists you see we call it professional buying the people's conscience with terminologies. Me economists now we will be afraid of backward integration. Any policy that do not make sense, any policy, forget about terminology at the man. Or be any one more worth a sorter or best will see factory and son or beji wabajene your friend say raw material would be feed the factory. No, it is never done. Nobody, there is no policy like that. And quickly Osako cite Bree Sugar Limited say, and none the same principle. It's a palpable force. Look, company Nankasa actual construction ever started June of 2023. Yeah, you're not starting pool, but guess what? Answer na yebesha asiedi pomabo from aswabo from Mesino factory Nankasa up planting up to 250 hectares into cultivation. Ye bias a sicheno, send ye be a 1 year factory no, ne sicheno, I am ready. Oko baby a fellow, fawoman, Oko says here, won't say ye dear a sicheno. That is what the forward thinking person does. Now the catcher say your friend is and also the same policy. Not one can ye and it's an open secret say Obercohono. Next renew honmo ayedua construction ankasa ebe start June of 2023 project no ebe we 2024 unwie no bibia ye ready. It is expected say e bet me produce 60,000 tons metric tons of sugar from that and yet wo no mo ye no ebio was say the entrance position no your friend is omoba ombetwetwam and trend clauses near the onion trends near no say obu say simple question o man penny you need parliament to do that enya wa ho ode na me ka say me what do I be ko so obehu de ntia o man penny mahama o man penny dada mahama was start here wo shebo akese I catch you say 2016 election after the elections no omuti committee no wura kwasi botwe eda no Now one of the who pay 257 of that report now. They can say any and to me and near trokesi any more musuye. The ever since then, Openina take you. Say any least opportunity be obedi atro. Either than that, because of the presidency atolala. Openina kasa say nyame in an unlikely event. Say nyame ya na dom so o ma metena so all 4 years be. To ga just all the presidency atolala. Ono mu 4 years no. Enti wadon ganfunu say no no aka no. Ti hwemfa no. Enti shabon na fa beji to me. Now we are media bedi eno ane wo. There is nothing more to it. Editima Ghana for ma anode nada wono se openi no wabase oba beye bibia eye kama dabi enya sa na tie me hora bi besiu
me daze mabin ko kind messages kakra me back. We look at parliament, what is happening in parliament, BOT, what is happening to your members of parliament, and then the party, has the issue been resolved, what is going on. We look at the Pitamian who said, Susan, so what my democracy, no to say. Of course, let me, good evening to you, lawyer. Please, is Ghana still beyond aid? What happened to e-levy? GRA must come out with the amount collected so far on e-levy. New taxes again, Ghana. Big up to the MPP man in your studio. He speaks like the cipher. Ken Adu Jama sent us this message. Emmanuel Jacobu says the newly trained teachers have been put to skill this month. I have 2 teachers on my staff with each getting 15,000, but can't tell with that of. Oh, okay. I'm sure that I was reading the wrong one. Please, lawyer, does it mean that the EC decision to use the Ghana card as the sole document for registration is being thrown away and cannot come back to convince Parliament again as they rejected the CI yesterday? Now, this one says, lawyer, good evening to you. As you know, Ghanaians are wallowing in abject poverty and overburdened with a lot of tax. The question is, why are we not demanding accountability from the government over excessive borrowing than to simply heap taxes on Ghanaians to pay for somebody's negligence and blatant corruption? Frank Menumuateng from Sankore sends this message. This one says, good evening to you, lawyer. One of the solutions to end balance of payment deficit is to embark on aggressive domestic revenue mobilization. So it's good for Parliament to accept all the revenue mobilization related bills written to Honorable Boache Ejako, the former energy minister. Okay, this your message. I'm sure time would not even permit us to read. Now, this one says, good evening to you. I am Sir Amas from Jache Bosomche. Please, can you ask oh, okay. So Nuruddin is not here. So you want Nuruddin to answer for Aswasi issue. Okay. Maybe you want beauty, but beauty, I'm not sure Aswasi he knows what is happening there. Good evening to you, lawyer. I sometimes feel uncomfortable when you choose and pick what you are comfortable with. My issue is my MP. Of course, why would he say, I don't know who be the main kind. Until I said I attack me first. Because I'm not sure you are being fair to your MP, say, who the message ban my choose. But your MP one is not on the program. I have not interviewed him on the program. And then you want me to read your message to attack him. He will not have opportunity to respond. Is that fair? If I don't read, you say, so this one, they accuse me, I accept it. I am not reading it. Barowski Asesua says, former President Mahama can win NDC presidential primaries, but as for 2024 general elections, his dynasty is over. Hi to Busunchi DC lawyer Joseph Assumin. Lord, please let this be on record. There are only 44 presidential staffers, 2 ministers of state, and 315 political appointees. The rest are public and civil servants. He should get his facts correct. Tactical from Sankore sends us this message. NPP is the luckiest government so far, but they have missed in action because of their own manifesto. Why free SHS? Why Agenda 111? Let's stop them and see if we can live within our means. Miracle from Obuase sends us this message. Good evening to you, lawyer, and your panel members. In fact, opposition communicators. Okay. There is the problem. SMS by Tobe Vincent, voter region. Okay. This one says, good evening to you, lawyer. And MPP has demonstrated pure mismanagement of the country's resources and has caused so much leakages in the system. NPP never again. We pray JDM will come and deliver us from this mess. Oseya Enoch Meduma Kwabere East sends us this message. Good evening to you, lawyer. Great show for me. I think if the government can even employ all Ghanaians at the Jubilee House, he should do that. Is BOT telling Ghanaians that the government should sack all the people working at Jubilee House and later turn around and say there's unemployment in the country? Rich inside Wamfie sends us this message. Wamfie for Michiamo. It's the Kwame Nkrumah. Okay, so teacher Kujo Tepajina Susu says, greetings to Honorable Eric Nana Ajeman Prempe and Moderator General. Well, today is a special day for him. Those who wouldn't know wouldn't understand. But today is a special day for Honorable Eric Nana Ajeman Prempe and Moderator. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. The country is duly practicing and experiencing the benefits and beauty of real democracy. But JDM calls on his supporters to ignore the list of the forward-looking NDCs, parliamentarians who exercise their individuals' consciences wisely and bravely to ensure progress and other developmental pursuits for Mother Ghana. Bahama is indeed that. Sometimes, you know, some of these things you don't expect me to read. So you send them. Okay, so it's 8:40. We have 20 minutes. I'll go back and read the messages. But let me go back. Let me start from BOT. BOT.
Lawyer.
Okay, so Ghana 4% who says, so say, Bibiadadi, members of parliament, in a party for and say, will rebel against the party. We'll go contrary to party position. Now we'll go to Aba for endorsement of ministers and Supreme Court nominees and all that. Has the issue been resolved? Because Ghanaians will want to know.
Lawyer, the kind of victories that are easy are cheap. Victories that are easy, very cheap. From the year 2014, 15, 16, a whole national chairman of an opposition party called MPP then sacked their national chairman, sacked their general secretary, sacked their national vice chairman. It brought them to power. The NDC will never even go near sacking anybody. And let Obi or Shemi now NDC be proud of the party. The NDC is a Congress. So you have amalgamation of interest. Unlike other political tradition that is very conservative in their approach, the NDC is a Congress. I mean, varied people with varied interests. And at any material moment, disagreement there is bound to happen. Where a statement that was read by Dr. Keslato Forsen, press briefing on the position of the NDC minority on the president ministerial nominees. the press briefing we started to say blood the minority caucus no shall reject the presidential nominees. Lawyer, when you are a leader in parliament, now who do a presser of this nature, now you so categorical. What you do is you raise people hope. Francis and Kaya minority leader who do this presser made this statement. Maybe in the NDC grassroots in the rank and file no be who say, oh, parliament there lobbying koso, compromise koso. But lawyers say, oh, be some a candid viewer. They triggered this expectation, and I call it, and it was in a way an anxious expectation because the minority leader who was chosen who came out to say, ministerial nominees are mampenia power money no, you better reject you. Until lawyer, me, I'm a member of the NDC, my dream mono. Send me them fear. The minimum say a quack or two bar. NDC 136 MPs Ninano will vote en bloc. Me, I'll call a spade, not a big spoon. So will be some candid viewer. This press are a minority leader here, you know. And the anxiety bar party, they're tossing you know. The press statement a party leadership issue, you know, then it's about public. Me am takas and so she will funny power. And so the default a loss of power or say attempt conceal your intentions. O come ma pen na more boy who say be pen na da or mouth chance. But so come ma pen na o to credit now the G oba so. O misa e crowd the be ma. I'm building premises. So one minority leader presser gave us hope and anxiety. Number 2, the party leadership press release calling on the party caucus in parliament to go to a certain line. In my candid view, that letter shouldn't have gone public. Obekaya, Abra na ye koto oba yi ratonable speaker babe no, a lot of backdoor negotiation course. Emma NDC timi borrow MPP form. Emma honorable Carlos Ahenkwa ko wi ballot paper every year. Emma ye che no. First time in the history of the world that MP timi wi ballot paper they share no ma ye che no born pampam man fe buy. Na be see the we say. Esi one people. Now, what be some question say ye pet me mu adwo. Lawyer emu aye boko.
Okay.
The ama emu aye boko no say and na ye ka say mampani da Muhammad their war scheme biaba. Elections are won at the polling station, not at the Adabraka. Adabraka ye party their headquarters. And to President Muhammad say, look, it won't country baby a tree. The Atiana say, Obi bia uye NDC adopt a branch. Because you're told by we are young conquer about Adabraka NDC national headquarters. So you bet over the 40,000 polling stations in Ghana. And in fact, President Muhammad called Power initiative from home to our central region, no. Me am here my adopt to 8 branches.
Okay.
Of the constituency. A month for adopt.
Okay.
And to the no say problem be any NDC.
Okay.
Now problem a month for person who creating is say, oh say, you said down who paya and a tefe raho. Me the suggestion keto bi to jana me de manuasi.
Okay.
Party leadership, no, Tito National General Secretary, no. At time they shouldn't come out too frontal on certain release.
Okay.
Assembly or why cannot cook. Salete ye babon he said ma and they could have been a more better way to engage the MPs. But bringing out that letter created anxiety and started the maintain fufu. Intermediate mesre.
Okay.
General Secretary say the NDC is a landlord, everybody else is a tenant. NDC a dera. Obia behind dan. Obia behind dan they do maybe anya tembia na bet maka obi o behind dan anymore.
Okay.
And the party from panning for who say parliamentary caucus na e wo ho no. They are also no case.
Okay.
Interview maybe na ye ade bia ye
friends to engage them.
Engage them.
Maybe that's it.
Than going to autocratic. That one it doesn't work.
It doesn't work that way. Maybe that's it. Zolo
your party as someone you
no crime say NDC actually Ghana for say omonye alternative and they can never be alternative. Here at the end of course no fun on the surface obey mistake. Them one say me na draw sa hasty conclusion say bibia da woko. At the end of course parliament ne fare by a free national executive elections somewhere. Now, unless and until party in better say a reconciliation, a proper reconciliation, devoid of say be a yebe any so they will suffer the heaviest. Already they will lose to Alan Chamanti in 2024. There is no doubt about that. But one way they will suffer the heaviest defeat. Ora of Swampofu. Any Ora said you get your contest. That was when I said, say, internal elections must not transcend into hatred. So to me show you say you are kotena kukuo mu kansem. Ye di nkomo. Not because upe to me nti ubeka se assume sie nyina ye ko take decision no. Wono de wamfa ne sa wo ye otherwise so ko fa obi a sabi one your support to MPP as one IT expert. Griffiths na make na say. Say decision bia o mu take it on national executive level no. Or no ora of swamp for single handedly. About to nchen ana okoye ndie just on kan okra on party na sem. Eno man to me no. Yes 2 million de obenya o. Na afterwards no how you be able to move forward no. Enti se party the person who call one no a. I was say they go back, go and beg of swamp for more de because o myself papa no political career. Me tie I don't envy him. So tiase. Ebio Memo ru enfise eyo for swamp of administration and the man Haruna Idrisu and Muntaka the leadership of the minority caucus. Otimase. Now to spite them, on person me you omo hinti no. Omo ba no me you omo free just to prove say you to me. Na me who battler in the middle of the war no leaders and I commanders no you you omo free. The all ba no afi na obesua the war tactics. Me will be that political strategy being one. No making reference to say NPP Kokoyi Paul Afoko. Who told you that was a wise decision? That was the most useless decisions I have ever seen. And no number a party and then Kofobi and person become on crab party no. And we are suffering from that. Now who should be free MPP or who should the pay free or MPP are the bonny and Amukoyi Haruna Idrisu in the middle of the ocean. Wani Muntaka say omo that reason crop mine mabofono said the 2024 election will be prosecuted on the economy. Nti wa want the economists ase no eni so will die ti akwakofo obi a oye economist aba na ono so ji to me no instead of so obe sound reconciliatory no oba ya the first statement to make him me on the live show I'm say out of force you will suffer was say obe make sure say nominees here o ma benia pa woni they will never be passed. And when I'm saying, now on what basis? First of all, young family say NDC for Nina Parliament, Castle Metro Obama, I reject it. NPP has the majority. And Jabay then our own minority, saying in our parliament, how were you going to achieve Adiana now working? In any case, Adiana will be qualified to be a minister. Article 78 makes it clear. So to be a minister, no, you must be a member of parliament or someone who qualifies to be a member of parliament. One more man penny power mono. Do not have members of parliament among you to be crack occupy ministerial positions. So on what basis national and the reject you? It sounds or also did it. Yembe man of one who say Haruna Idrisu no mon homody. Now media maba the bomb homody. It's right there or shooting himself in the foot. But do you believe for a moment say who person who Haruna Idrisu ni munta kenimasi? They have friends. They have people who are dependent on them from the NDC side are surviving their political life up to date. Who good animasi? No one better answer go animasi.
Okay.
And untino now so much at force in bibika crebi.
Okay.
Na Omonfenia yani already Alan will not struggle to win the 2024 elections. Makan is severally say the election dynamics of this country and this is will be winning. Buzaza for no kwakunya votes na winning.
Eh no kunya votes are winning because Peter Tepe on mention on this one as a neutral person on this issue. But quickly no mame share message we say hello, good evening to you. Lawyer and Foster watching you live from Boho Kaz. The MPP man talks as if we don't know anything. Nothing goes on in Ghana here. Even Mr. President and Finance Minister don't know what to do. And you just communicate. Chairman. Okay. Please, My name is Abbas. Tell the MPP man that he should stop. Okay. The Akabe machine. So. This one says Major One Kumasi Ohene. The tax is excise tax and not exercise tax, as I heard. Okay. My worry is the government will never use the taxes for the very purpose they are collecting them. Okay. This one says, good evening to you, lawyer. Thank you, and I say thank you too. I am Asante Achim citizen. Lawyer, please tell Ghanaians, with or without IMF, Ghana will continue to be Ghana. So let's all change from cheating your neighbor. Lawyer, tell those complaining about paying tax to stop the work and come to my village and plant foodstuffs. Why always denying government the enforce law and order? Let's stop the greetings to my mother, Akuya Chama. Okay, thank you also for your message. This one says, well, good evening to you. In fact, BOT is the best economist in this country. Foster watching you live from Adujama Ambulance Station. Greetings to William Ajay Nyako. This one says, I am Amia Francis, Memphis Central. Greetings to all NDC members. Okay. Thank you also for your message. 2 minutes and I'll come to you, Mr. Tepe. Greetings go out to Ben inside Tepa. Abotuase. Chairman, both MPP and NDC and our leaders are all corrupt. Please, we need, you need military, yo. Maybe you never seen one before. Lord, good evening to you. Big ups to the MPP communicator. My greetings to Dr. Alex Ampabeng from Emeka Jabuso Nkwanta. The Commander Sugar Factory was a disaster from the beginning. It did not have raw materials based in form of sugar plantation and energy, etc., etc. Let us be honest and stop the politics with everything. Dr. Kufiampon Sambedia concerns us this evening. Doc, good evening to you. My regards to you. Now back to studio. Mr. Tepe, your issue, your view on this. The ACL Parliament with respect to the leadership and the MP and outside the Parliament pronouncements and all that. But BOTCBBA Akotodi, is that how you see it?
Well, you know, there as a leader, even if there are issues, this is not a platform, and honestly, you can say it on air. Yeah, but in politics,
You live long.
now there are two things, and BBSCBI are very good, and two things on the side of the leadership in Parliament for the minority, and then the leadership for the party itself. When you become a leader, you must know, say, your status has changed. And so the way you talk, the way you act must be exemplary, and it should be reconciliatory such that you can pull people along. The issue nearby anything of the minority leader and any team no. I think the leader was carried by that. Say there is so much hope in him, say there is someone we need to be very strong. But I want to say parliamentary duties, a strategy and yet personal emotions. You need, because you are leading matured adults. And so you cannot bully them. You must understand that there are people who can reason on their own, or they reason on their own. They are leading certain level of constituent. And apart from that, within the party itself, they also have their own interest. And so you cannot treat them as if they are children. And I think that Sena Yekache, the current leader, the party baby time no issues a buy, I was so who said baby I have a lot of work to do. First of all, to bring the former leaders on board first. So you should have watched his pronouncement. And so you see, we a very big lesson to him. Say, I have to revise my notes and gauge what I should say. So the name be why and you will lead an open or so can. And also be more than one chain or say come out. And then any money answer also the two. So I think say it is time for him to sit back and do a retrospect and see say this is how I should go. It shouldn't be tit for tat. It shouldn't be, you see, this is very important for him. And his career is being built on the current position of Sisiano. And so he has to be very cautious. On the party leadership, I think there is overconfidence. 2024 is a done deal. And so either you go by us or we pull you aside. And so whatever we say, we must go by us. So you see, Omu Fuli say, Omu to me. Because Omu will win election 2024. And whatever we say, you must abide by it. Other than that, your bad power will punish you. And you see, there's some that kind of feeling from I see. Say what they are doing is like they feel say it's a done deal for 2024, and so you must either listen to us or when we come to power, we will show you where power lies. Until we share our pronouncement, you must vote, you must do this, you must go by this. No. This is why you see. First of all, even though the party is there. But they won the elections from the people who voted for them. And Sisiano, the lessons from the 2020 election, which I say, everybody is important. You can't throw them away. Look at what the mistake MPP did. If the Kumewu MP, Anna, if he did not come, you see, look at the words they used during elections against him. The former, sorry, very good. The former MP. Look at how they treated him. But today, he is the cornerstone for them. So this is a lesson for NDC to know. Say, look, we need to pull the people along. So whatever has happened now, try to find out who voted against us, and we have to deal with them. It's a big mistake they are making.
Okay.
So they should look at the substance of the issue, deal with it, and say, what has happened? We lost it. What do we do to move along? Other than that, it will even be worse when they even come to power, assuming.
No, okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Peter Tepe. Thank you so much. BOT, you have been saved by the bell. What does you want to say?
Lawyer, 30 seconds.
It's not.
The challenge I mean who is 2024 election. The NDC will suffer from complacency, then people suffer from apathy.
Okay.
And who places cards well will carry them.
Unfortunately, MPP will not suffer from apathy because Alan is the unifier.
Obi bisa question says so the CI constitutional instruments electoral commission edical parliament were thrown out and as were rejecting what happens. It means that it stands rejected. And I just say Bia Omo ebe package another one until said that is done, that constitutional instrument is gone and the old one is was. Okay, so anyway, we thank you so much. This Peter Tepe, who is an economist, is the finance person. Solo, thank you so much this evening. Thank you so much, BOT. Producers of the show shall I say. Well, the day has not ended yet. If you have a chilled beer, just enjoy, because I can assure you there will be no beer in heaven. So if you have a chilled one here in Ghana, just enjoy it. Catch you next week, same time, same station. Thank you so much for being with us. God bless you. Jah guide.